Asking if you could elaborate for us the lapses in our system that would allow for such an event, for 10 armed men to be able to kidnap journalists, drive them into the forest and beat them up, and then refuse to cooperate with the police.
Oh, so number one is the impunity. Impunity, you remember 2 years ago, we reported Chairman Wuntumi for Galamsey in the Tanonimri Forest. Thankfully, it was the story, the documentary, with pictorial evidence. To date, IGP Dampare and Faustina Andokufi have refused to move the case forward. So you see that once Wuntumi, a politically exposed person, has not been prosecuted, naturally, other persons with power will not be prosecuted, because from what Erasmus told you, the guy mentioned that their government is in power. Their government is in power. So that's also indicating a lot of political connection. So once Wuntumi was not prosecuted, listen, a signal of what? Impunity. So other like-minded and politically connected persons will not be prosecuted. So for me, it's about the prosecution of those we already have some evidence against. You remember the Frimpong Boakye report, also another example of impunity. They rubbished it. The Attorney General said there wasn't evidence. When there was clear evidence, there was a journalist, Seth Mante, who admitted taking money, etc. That journalist is not being prosecuted. The Frimpong Boakye report fingered Gabi Ochiridako, the president's cousin. He's not been prosecuted. So what do you expect? That it will, naturally, other connected persons would not be prosecuted. So for me, that's the first thing. And it also goes down to the independence of the police. So it tells you that the police are not independent. That's the main thing. If you see them not being able to prosecute open and shut cases like this, it tells you that it's about time we looked at the independence of the police. And so once again, we go back to constitutional review. Constitutional review, because we've made the police an appendage of the executive. So the president's command is what the police will do. And sometimes it's not even express words from the presidency or the executive, but just even the posturing. Because you see, the president went and stood in Koforidua and said Chairman Wuntumi was not mining in the Tanonimri Forest at the time he was speaking. That was unnecessary. So you see, he was signaling to law enforcement people that, look, he's backing Chairman Wuntumi. Is there any wonder that Superintendent Inkum, that's the senior officer involved, charged with investigating the case, will not take any step? Is there any wonder that Faustina Andokufi, a CID boss, would not want to prosecute the case? Dampare would not want to prosecute the case because of that signaling effect that the president gave, that Chairman Wuntumi was not mining in the Tanonimri Forest at the time he was speaking. Okay, so for me, number one, number two, number three, I think impunity, that subculture of impunity and the police not being independent enough is what is causing this. Because if we were to tackle it from that angle, I'm sure by now we'll have better results. And of course, there's also the other side of it, which is the citizenry. You see, Kojo, we are now making some noise.
The call has been put on hold.
It's a little too late.